transition out of here, man. Uh, well, we were looking. We were trying to figure out what some of the topics were. You know, Jaylen Brown came across my desk, man, and I was like, I gotta admit, I'm not even gonna sit here and stunt like I watched the Big Three all summer. I've caught games with it. I like the concept. I like the idea. I like Cube, even though I didn't. There was a while I didn't fuck with him with all that goofy bow down shit he was doing. But he's redeemed himself and everything. You know what I'm saying? And so peace to Cube. But when you was on that bow down shit, we wasn't fucking with you out here. But I like the Big Three. I like the concept of it. You know what I mean? But like I said, I haven't watched it a ton. I watched it when AI was in the league and Chris Jackson and all them dudes. You know what I'm saying? But so when I saw, I know he was having issues with the NBA and Adam Silver. Let's give him some backstory real quick, man. Ice Cube and Adam Silver, man. Supposedly, Cube claims that the NBA and Adam Silver was supposedly blackballing him, right? Making shit hard for him, man. Now people might ask, how can the NBA blackball you, and why would the NBA blackball you, right? Well, one of the ideas is the Big Three directly goes up against the WNBA in the summertime, right? NBA runs the WNBA. They haven't really been able to really market and blow the WNBA up to where they thought they would. So that's cutting into that market share. That's one of the things, right? Then Cube came out with this thing. Are you aware, called the Black America contract? Were you aware of that? We'll explain that in a little bit, man. So that's another reason we'll break down that whole shit. But in terms of you're cutting into the NBA's market shares, and NBA is powerful. You know what I'm saying? They have all the media locked down. They have all the TV contracts. So it's nothing for Adam Silver or whoever to make a call to ESPN and say, because Cube is complaining about the lack of media coverage and all the publicity with the sponsorship and all that. It's nothing for Adam Silver to pick up the phone and say, hey, such and such and such. We got these TV contracts coming up next year. Or, hey, you guys want to be the official Ford? You want to be the official sponsor of the NBA or whoever, Sprite? You want to don't fuck with this guy Cube and shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So Jaylen Brown. So then when I see Jaylen Brown playing this All-Star game, I'm saying to myself, well, did they squash the beef, him and Adam Silver, or is Jaylen Brown just giving Adam Silver the finger and saying, I'm gonna do what I want to do? Now we all know Jaylen Brown. He stands on his square. He stands on the side of righteousness, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. During the whole vaccine shit, he was one of the only people who stood on the square for Kyrie. I respect Jaylen Brown a lot. I wish he was fucking on the Knicks, but he got his bag with the Celtics, and I respect that. Q, I'm gonna go to you first, man. What's your take on Jaylen playing in the Big Three All-Star game, shining a lot of light on that shit? And do you think it was Adam Silver kind of throwing out the peace treaty, or was it Jaylen Brown doing what he do?
I definitely think it was Jaylen Brown doing what he does. Without a doubt, man. Like, when you have these big corporations and presidents, man, like these guys want to make decisions like just the same way the NFL used to do it to all these other leagues and CFL and XFL and all this other shit. Like they weren't blowing up, and Adam Silver could see that, especially when you have an iconic figure like Cube bringing in people that used to play the game.
Yeah,
like in the NBA, you know, and people could relate to that. It's not like you're just seeing somebody you never seen play. Obviously, you're not seeing them at the potential that they used to play, at the caliber or the level, But you still seeing that name. I would go buy some tickets to see a little bit older, Richardson and Jefferson. They are fucking then, especially if niggas never got to see them before. At least I can say, hey, I went to go do it. I support it, and it was a good thing too, because what they did was just, it was all for charity. And, like, it's not like it's a big thing. It's not like Jaylen Brown was over here, like, busting their ass, It was you can see him playing soft defense. It wasn't nothing crazy. He scored 9 points, did what he needed to do. I think the takeaway from that is him agreeing to do it and siding with Cube to take the next step into something that could have been great. Like, to be honest, like when Big Three first came out, I thought it was only going to take, maybe 2-3 years to get bigger than what I thought it was supposed to be, but it's still falling a little bit short. And I feel like this doing it is going to be a good thing. It was a London game. They gave it away to charity. The money that was raised. So I think all around is just good energy, and Jaylen Brown stepping in and helping out Cube. I don't even think he did it as even. I don't even think Cube initiated the favor. Jaylen Brown was just like, dog, I'll do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in the greatest shape of my life. I just got paid $300 million. You know what I mean? Like, I'm chilling, me. Like, what do you want me to do? You want me to play soft basketball with some, you know what I mean? With some ill players and shit. Like, just have fun with it, man. Isn't that what's supposed to be basketball's for? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sports is supposed to be that.
Yeah. Ed, what do you think, man? Like, let me ask you this real quick before you get into your point. What do you think the beef? What's the true essence behind this little, beef with Adam Silver and Cube, in your opinion?
Well, the NBA from a business standpoint, I feel like Cube said, I'm just trying to piggyback on what Cube said in an interview recently when he was talking about it. He feels like the NBA is trying to run basketball in every single aspect. So, Big Three being a black owned business, and it gives the NBA that competition, gives that light away from the NBA when you see guys coming in from the Big Three and they still play in the high level and they play that old school style of basketball. You know what I mean? Like the style that I could say us three that we enjoy watching. Hand checking. You know what I mean? I like the idea of the 4-point play. What I mean? Like I even like they got something called when they foul you. They got something called something ball on fire, something like that, where they make you play one-on-one to see, if the ball was lying or not. So
it's like the hockey shit, right? That's that shit they do. Yeah,
exactly. But touching up on Jaylen playing, I think his participation matters a huge deal. You know what I mean? And he made a statement not only to the NBA but to all the other NBA players that are scared of the business, like the back end businesses of the NBA, and scared to come out and speak out. I like that he's outside of the box thinker. He's his vision is that he always has this vision of the black economic empowerment, and him joining forces with a person like Ice Cube with a black owned business like this. I feel like it's big not only for his community but big for basketball, but for years to come. I know he came out to for Christ's sakes, the kid, he just finished signing a supermax, the richest contract in NBA history, and then he makes a statement like this. I enjoyed it to the max. You know what I mean? And I'll be honest, like you guys were saying, I only watched like maybe the first 2 seasons of the Big Three because the names that they had, all the names they had, and I kind of fell off. I even lost track that they in their 6th season, but I read too today
because of the lack of coverage. You don't even know when the fuck this shit starts or not sometimes.
Exactly. So
it's like N1 tapes at one point. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck they at?
It's like, they like show you a limited amount of it, and then for some reason it just fades away. I do want to touch upon something about, in my opinion, why I feel like the Big Three faded away for a while. Because I remember when Paul Pierce, I don't know if y'all remember, Paul Pierce was saying, or Stack was saying, "Oh, watch when Kobe joins the Big Three." So when Kobe passed, it kind of it kind of put like a dark cloud over the Big Three for a while because people wanted to see Kobe in the Big Three. That's just me, just thinking outside the box. But I really enjoyed this All-Star game. I like the concept of the Big Three. I wish, in future years, more NBA players follow Jaylen Brown's path and be like, you know what? Let me support this. Let me support this. Let me show that I could do this, at a different level. And, it'll be cool to shine light on the Big Three, not just always NBA.
Right.
Now, quick question for both of you. Now, do you think if Jaylen Brown didn't get his crazy massive contract this year, would he have still done that move?
I think so. Just so for the person that he is, like he's always for, black empowerment, like I was saying, I actually thought Kyrie would be like the first kind of person to do something like this, but Kyrie's doing his tours in the summer leagues, like in the league.
Kyrie had enough heat these last couple of years. Kyrie it's all right to duck sometimes, Kyrie. You know what I'm saying?
That's good that he stepped away from the limelight and somebody like a Jaylen Brown, stepped in. I was even surprised when I read this. When I read this and I saw this was news, I was like, "Oh, this is a big deal." But like Q said, to go into Q's point, he took it easy. 9 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. His team lost. He was actually added starter to the team because it's a 5-on-5 thing. It's like they each picked 5-on-5, and he was a 6th man for one team. So his team had the advantage. but they still lost. But it was fun to watch.
Absolutely, man. It was, it's good shit, man. I want to backtrack a little bit because Cube had said something. He said that the NBA are gatekeepers, right? And that the gatekeepers won't let him in basically ever since he put out what's called the contract to Black America. Let's unpack that for a second, right? Are you guys aware of that whole contract of Black America shit?
I only know that he got like $100 million from the NFL pledge or something like that. That's the only thing I read.
This is basically like a referendum or open not referendum is the wrong word, like an open letter to America and the powers that be, highlighting the issues that the Black and brown people suffer. You know what I'm saying? Now it's somewhat facetious. Like I said, it's like almost like an open letter, and it talks about like big company bailouts during the during COVID, and he says 42% of Black businesses went under during COVID, while all these big companies got bailed the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? He talks about financial oversight on the government. He talks about lending to minorities. He speaks on police reform, bank and finance reform, prison reform. And he made sense. He said you can't have police reform and not prison reform or judicial reform because, okay, let's say that you reform the police. Okay, cool. So then when you go to jail, when you go up get to see the judge is going to lock you up anyway. So, you know what I'm saying? And when you go to jail, you're going to be there's going to be slave labor. So all three of them have to be in lockstep, right? He also talks a lot about, financial freedom and loans for minorities and, a whole litany of things, man. And anytime you talking that shit, you see even on the platform we on, you can't even say something this fucking little without them niggas flagging you and doing all types of weirdo shit. You know what I'm saying? So imagine you talking the big ass platform that Cube has, right? Imagine you talking that shit like, cause Cube, and he said he was gonna go on a podcast tour and tell everyone, all these ideas he has and why, and that the NBA is blackballing him for that. Now, if I say I'm going on a podcast tour, I'm going to G's podcast and your podcast and Drop a Gem and all these other podcasts. This nigga's going $1 million worth of game, who has 1 million plus subscribers. He's going to Joe Budden, who has over 1 million. He's sitting down with Joe Rogan. He's reaching people. Major platform. More these platforms are bigger than linear TV. You feel what I'm saying? So that's scary for these niggas. Like, we can't let this motherfucking Cube start talking that crazy shit and wake all these dudes up. He's Ice Cube. He's a huge fucking mega. And you notice Cube ain't been making movies lately. You haven't noticed that? They got him.
He did.
He was on fire with the movies for 20 fucking years. So to me, this is a concerted, cohorted effort to kind of silence him, man. You know what I'm saying? And respect. Let's take a shot for Jaylen Brown for having the fucking balls and the intelligence to do this shit after he got his bag.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The blood done dried in the paper. The ink done dried. You feel what I'm saying? I'm on my Denzel shit hitting the table. But
that's it.
Respect to Jaylen Brown and respect to Q for speaking his mind and standing on the square, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But the thing about Cube, I respect Cube. He's always one of my favorites in the hip hop game, just in general as an entrepreneur. You know what I mean? He's always been one of my favorites because he's never been afraid to speak his mind. Even when he shut down NWA all by himself.
Burn Hollywood, Burn. Remember that shit?
Yeah. Jacket for Beats with no Vaseline. Since those days, even when he came out with Friday and all that, he never been afraid to speak his mind.
Even in the NWA days. And except no, listen, we're about to take a shot for Ice Cube, right? But Cube, hold on, let me move the windows. I want to go in the middle when I say this shit. Cube, you was out of pocket when you talking that New York shit back in the 90s, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I just want to let you know we on some New York shit. But nah, we got love for Cube.
He slayed Tim Dog though. You know what I mean?
Nah, I don't want. I'll get ready to say some shit. Let me calm down. We are nationally syndicated. I got love for everybody. I got love for everybody. Shout out to Compton. I actually got a friend from Compton. Shout out to South Central. Shout out to all them LA niggas. I'm only playing around. All that shit is dead. Let's take a shot for motherfucking Ice Cube. You know what I mean? Yeah. Ow. This shit getting worse and worse. Goddamn. I gotta get some new liquor.
Yo.
But yeah, man, real talk, man. I like the way this episode feels. Pause. You know what I'm saying?
It feels like thunder top.
Oh! I love it. Thunder top.
We need to patent a thunder top blow.
Word,
Yo, we're gonna get shirts.
Where you blow up and she has a hole in her mouth and like when you press a button, her face just goes down.
Oh, yeah.
That's fire, yo. Stop playing games, yo. And then she got to be wearing a DST shirt, yo.
A DST bata. She'll wear DST bata. She got to be a grandma. DST bata.
Drunk sports top.
Yo, drunk sports top. Word. Oh shit.
Drunk sports top. Drunk sports combat. We drunk sports. Let me not go crazy. You know what to see me for. Drunk sports cock. Pause. Yo,
we got a clip. You got a clip. Yo, we got to clip that shit.
We need some censorship going on.
Oh my god.
Oh man, I love it. You know what I'm saying? Man. Yeah, man. So yeah, like I said, shout out to the big three.
Shout out to big three, Jaylen Brown, man. It's gonna be
man.
Man. Y'all hope this shit opens up some doors for the shit to keep happening. Like like Ed said, man, like it'll be very interesting. It definitely gonna make it blow up, but
it is. Even from perception, it was interesting because a lot of people wanted to see my what's his name? I could never pronounce his name. Chris Jackson.
Yeah, quick. Raouf. I always get it wrong.
I was so happy to see him.
Whatever.
Yeah, Chris Jackson. Chauncey
at 50, balling. He was 50 years old when he was in that shit, killing
niggas. You see Katino Mobley. He was in it. You know what I mean? Rashad McCants that got exiled from the NBA because of the Kardashian curse. You know, even when, like I said, like I mentioned, even when they were talking about Kobe after his career coming over, I was like, yo, you can imagine Kobe lighting.
I don't think Kobe was gonna do it, but it was good hype to just.
I think he would have done it if he.
Kobe said he wasn't. He said he emptied his cup as far as ball. He was into the movie.
His daughter.
He actually won a Grammy. He actually won an Oscar for one of his cartoon movies.
He was into his daughter and the league. But I knew, knowing Kobe as a competitor, he probably would have stepped in one season, just to kill niggas.
Maybe to give Ice Cube the alley-oop, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Him being from LA.
That's the only thing I can see him doing, or maybe help Ice Cube get some bigger names. Get some other dudes and shit to come on over.
Who do you think the biggest name in there was?
Oh, Iverson. Iverson was the first year?
AI was like, and I love that but he looked terrible. He wasn't he like a player coach or some shit like that. Like
he was a player coach.
And I fucks with AI, man. Real talk, I fucks with. And we're gonna get to some AI shit a little bit later in the show, man. Well, let's transition, man. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I truly believe that we are the greatest, most infamous, most gangster sports / hip hop show out on these internet fucking streets, you know what I'm saying? I truly believe that. I don't think niggas can't fuck with us, you know what I'm saying? We only gonna get better. But